What is going on, guys? This is X out of here, and welcome back. Today we are taking a look at the Kenworth T660 by, I believe I'm gonna say this wrong. I believe it's Marihuana Loco. I know I've definitely screwed that up. Um, but he's the one that did an edit on this truck and actually made this truck. So I'll leave a link in the description below to where you can go and get this mod. Now, whenever you download it, it will be in a zip file. If you try to unzip it, it asks for a password. I didn't know how to, get it into the game, but all you have to do is right-click on the actual unzip file or the zip file and hit copy, and then go into your mods and then paste it in there. So you have a copy of the whole zip in your mods folder, and then all you do is just start the game up, go to your mods, and then find it. It'll say T660, and then you just put it over. I do have it as just the only truck in right now, so there's no other trucks that can, conflict with it and really mess it up. It is beta, it is in a beta, so it's definitely a work in progress. But what we have so far, it is very nice. So credits go to him for making this truck. I know a lot of people like the Kenworth T660, so we're gonna get into this. So we're gonna customize this. So this is the day cab version. I'll go through the different cabs and then the different chassis differences between them. So here's the day cab version. As you can see, it is very nicely done. And then you have a studio sleeper, which is this, which is still very nicely done. He did a fantastic job on this. And then the aero cab sleeper, which, as you can see underneath, if you do turn the lights on, it adds a light bar underneath, which is nice. So the studio sleeper does not, but the aero cab does. So going back to the day cab, if we look at the chassis, excuse me, you will notice here the step on the back. That's for the 150 gallon. Now if we click on the 200 gallon for the day cab, as you can see, it adds a tank. And here's the 150, where it has the one tank on the one side and the toolbox step on the other side. And then we do the 200 gallon, it has two tanks on it. So those are the two differences between that. With the day cab, we will go back into the cabins and we will choose studio sleeper, and then we will go back into the chassis. Now here's the 220 gallon 6x4 long, and then here's the 300 gallon. So as you can see, it does change the side paneling on here, as this one has an exclusive one that goes all the way back to the wheelbase, and then the 300 one, it stops and then adds a step in on either side with the quarter fenders. Now another thing I want to point out too is the hoses in the back, the airline hoses and the light hoses. Excuse me. What he has done is that it made it look like to whenever you're hooked up to a trailer that they look like they're connected. That is a very nice detail. I've not seen that before. So that is something that I've never seen before, which is a very nice detailed touch. So we're gonna go with the studio sleeper here today. So we'll go into the engines. I don't have any engine mods in here besides the ISX 15 straight pipe that you can get on the Steam Workshop. So that's the only one I have in here. So you have your Cummins ISX 12, your PACCAR MX13, your regular Cummins ISX 15, and then the straight one if you have that mod in there. Then you have a 600 horsepower straight piped, and then the Caterpillar C15 625 horsepower. I'm going to go with the Cummins ISX 15 straight piped. Once again, this isn't a default. This is a mod, so you will have to install that if you do want this engine in here. So we'll go over to transmissions. Just your standard, transmissions. You got your Eaton 4 10-speed, 13-speed, 10-speed with a retarder, 18-speed. You have your Allison 6-speed. You have a Eaton 4 13-speed with a retarder, Eaton 4 18-speed with a retarder, and your Allison 6-speed with a retarder. So those are the default ones. Once again, I do not have any mods in that add extra transmissions or engines in there. So I don't want nothing to conflict with, with the truck. So I want to try to keep it as bare minimum as possible. I do have some mods in here that enhance the lighting, but that doesn't affect the truck. So I'm going to go with an 18 speed. I always like 18 speeds, so I'm going to stick with the 18 speed. So if we go to interior, it's just the same two interiors that come with SCS, with the standard truck. So you have your modern interior here, and then you have your classic wood grain interior. Now, one thing I will notice, if you click on modern, it's just a normal dashboard. And then if we click on classic interior, as you can see the difference between the two sets of gauges. This is the, you know, the modern one, and then the classic one, he has gone and done an edit and added a ring around all the gauges to kind of make them pop out more, so they have a little bit more detail to them. I think that's a nice touch. So, I do appreciate him doing something like that. That he doesn't have to. It's just, small details that really catch the eye, and, people do notice. So, for him doing that, it is, something that is nice that he has done. I haven't really seen it on too many other mods that are in beta form like this. Usually it's like a final release, but for it being in beta, that is really nice. Moving over to paint, we do have, we'll start up here, we have lapis blue, lily white, satin gray, wine red, creamy orange, crimson red, graphite black, custom color, which you can choose any color that your heart desires. May go with a pink truck today. I'm kidding, I'm not going to do that, but if you want to, you can. We have metallic blue, metallic cyan, and then we have custom metallic color, which we will check out. So we'll go over to red, make sure that it works. And it works, which is nice. So we'll leave that on red. Go to the second color, and we will see if it works. And it does not. So as you can see that it is not working. It's still in beta form, so the metallic is not working on here, which is a bummer. And then you have your white, which isn't working either. Now, like I said, I do have some mods in here, but I don't have any paint mods in. I've tested another mod. It has the same exact mods that I have in, and paint worked. So it's on their end. Once again, this is very early beta of this truck. You're still able to drive it. It's just the metallic is a little messed up. With the divided, the striped, the vintage red. And I will go back and look and double check to make sure that it's nothing that I have in that is causing it. If it is, I will post it in the description below, and let you guys know that it was such and such mod, or it was a mod that the paint does work. So if it is on my end, I will put that in the description below. If it is not, I will just leave it as is. So I'm just pointing that out there. So we're gonna go with a custom color today. We're gonna go. Why don't we try yellow? Never done a yellow, so we'll go with a somewhat of a bright yellow, something like that. We'll go with that. Over to accessories. There's not a whole lot of accessories because, once again, like I said, it is in beta. But we'll start on top of the roof. So you have the turbo wing. I do have the Dan Clark light bar 70-inch bunk, so that does work somewhat. I mean, you can add it, but it doesn't really fit too well. And then you have your turbo wing. So we'll get rid of that. Then you have your roof sleepers, which you do have the light adapter mod in. And then you click on it, and you could add the horns, or you could add the lights on here as you please. So something like this, which is very common on trucks, that they'll have 5 lights on the roof and on the cab. Moving down to the horns. So you could get rid of the horns. You could change them out, or you could put lights on there if you really wanted to. But we're going to put horns on here. They have roar, which is standard, big roar, and then they have a super roar. So I'm going to go with the super roar. And then moving on down, you have the cabin lights, which is a light adapter just like the top. And you can add all lights across it, like so. Like this if you wanted to. As you can see, we'll go back up here, that the light adapter for the top, it doesn't really fit. As you can see that the horns and the lights are a little off the cab, so that needs to be repositioned. So I'll just take that off for now. It needs to be repositioned. Moving down to the sun visors, we have two. We have a standard sun visor, which does have a light bar going across it, so you put the lights on. It does have a light bar. Then we have a blind mount visor, I'm sorry. That is a custom one that he has added Kenworth on it, which is a nice touch to the standard blind mount. Something different. Moving on to the bug deflector. When I click on this, it's not going to be a bug deflector. It's an antenna, and I'm not sure exactly why it's an antenna. Once again, I will mention this multiple times throughout any beta that I do, that it is a beta. So if we click on it, it does add a freakishly long antenna to the front of the hood, so it looks like the truck's gonna go jousting or something, or fencing. Not very prototypical, so I'm going to take that off. Moving over to the front mirrors, you have your left hood mount, which seems to be a little out of whack. Doesn't really seem to be right. And then you have your left hood mount, which does seem to be. So if you look at this one, it's like all crooked, like it should be turned out this way. Not really right here. And then you go over to the right side and you have the same. But if you have the hood mount where it's on the fenders as well, that'll work a lot better. But I don't like having them on. To me, I think they look ugly. So I just take those off. There's no, you can't change the grille or the front bumper. So that is a downside. So hopefully in the future update, he will add more bumpers. You know, change the grille, fix this bug deflector, fix the mirror. But once again, this is a beta. It was just released not too long ago. So I'm going to change the tire. I'm just going to go with a standard Seagull tire. Change the tire out to Roadmaster. And we will change the nuts on here. Like so. Alright, moving on, we have the cabin panels. So you have the 12-inch ones, and then you have the 5-inch. They don't go all the way back to the sleeper, so they're only right here underneath the door. As you can see, there's like a little connector point, I guess for electrical wire there. So if you pick the 5-inch ones, the light does go through that, as you could see. You could have it on there. It's just a minor detail. If you're real nitpicky about that, I don't know what else to tell you. So, but we'll leave it on there. Another thing, the mud flap down here is a custom mud flap, as you can see. So that's a custom mud flap. Moving up to the mirrors, you have your mirrors duty, which has antennas on it, and the double mirrors. And then if you click on the mirrors double, it actually changes it back to a chrome classic double mirror for the Kenworth T680, and then he added antennas onto that one. So you could choose either or, depending on what you're in the mood to have on. Moving back to the exhaust, we'll start with here, we have, well, plane stacks aren't working. So they're supposed to be plane stacks, but they aren't working. And then you have your standard exhaust, which is the dual exhaust in the back. You can't change the light bar in the back, or you cannot change the fender, or the frame with the mud flaps. So you can't do nothing back there. They are custom Kenworth mud flaps, which I think is nice. So I don't speak Spanish, but they're from Mexico. So he is, the guy that has created this, he is from Mexico. So he has put that on there. I don't know how to pronounce it. So I'm not very good at speaking Spanish at all, so I'm not going to even try to pronounce it. So we're going to change the back wheels here. We're just going to go with a Seagull wide chrome. So we'll just do that and do the standard that I always do with the lug nuts and the hub cover. So do the Hyperion chrome nut caps with the Kenworth hub covers, and we'll change the tires to Roadmaster. Once again, all just personal preference. Now, if you do pick, we'll go back here to the day cab, and it's going to change everything. So if we go back to the day cab, and we go over here to exhaust, you can't put the plain stack on, which adds a single stack as the day cab would normally have, or you could have the dual exhaust, which day cabs also do have. But if we go to, such as the Aero Cab Sleeper, and go to change the exhaust, it doesn't have them. I'll check the cabin panels again, because I know on the T680 I forgot to do the high-rise sleeper, and it did add lights along the running board underneath the skirt and then on the side, but it's still the same. The only thing that it adds is the light bar underneath the truck. But I don't like the Aero Cab, so I'm just going to stick with the Studio Sleeper like that. Alright, so I believe that's everything with this truck so far. We do have to change out these lights up here because they are a little offset, as I have noticed. So we'll change those real quick. Oop. Change that one and that one. There we go, they should be fixed. Alright, yeah. Oh, still missed one. Missed the middle one. I can't really see that one. Alright, cool. So that's everything with the truck. So we will go ahead and confirm this, and we will drive it around. Trade in, yes. Hopefully this doesn't take too long to load up. And it seems that it is. I'm not sure why it is taking so long for it to load. Normally it doesn't take this long. So I do apologize for it taking this long. But there we go. So we'll just cut this. So we're inside here. So we'll get rid of this. Go to the outside. It's a very nice truck. We'll put the lights on. So there you go, you got the lights. We'll start it up. So once again, this is the Cummins ISX 15 600 horsepower straight piped. So we'll put the turn signal on. So this is supposed to be the left turn signal. As you can see, both of them come on. Then there's the right turn signal. So when you hit the left turn signal, all the turn signals come on. Here's my hazard lights, that are acting as hazard lights. There's the turn signal on the front fender, as you can see there, which is nice. Now if we go to the back, on the light plate, we go left. As you can see, the left two and the bottom three all light up. But if we do right, only the right two light up. And on the back of the sleeper, the lights light up as turn signals. But the left side's really messed up. It adds the hazard lights. The hazard lights are these. And I believe the bottom three lights are supposed to be for the hazard light, not for the turn signal. Because they don't come on whenever you hit the right one, but they do come on whenever you hit the left one. So that is a flaw. Just a little bug, minor bug that he could fix. So there is that. So we're going to take this around the block here. It is a little on the evening side, so hopefully we can get this done before it gets too dark. In my other videos, you have heard this engine sound before. Ooh, backing up a little too fast. But I always like to just listen to the sound, so you know people can get a feel for it if they haven't heard it before. So I'll be quiet here so you can listen to it. And I do see I have forgot to do the inside accessories for the interior. I have forgot to do that. So I will do that whenever we get back. See if there's any steering wheels that he may have added. You know, check out the creations pack, see if it works. This truck. So got the green light. So that's the sound of the engine if you haven't heard it before. If you have heard it before, like I said before, I just like showing it just because it's, you know, I think the sound's cool, so I will just leave that in there. So we'll go back in here real quick. We'll enter in here, go back to the upgrade shop, and there we go. Okay, so you can pick the Kenworth Modern, and then there is the Kenworth Classic, which has the wood grain. Go with the Classic interior here, which is more modern because it has the gauges, or they pop out at you more. Ooh, wrong one. I do have the creations pack in here, so you can see that there are the other wheels that you could choose from, if you so please. But I think I'm going to go with the Kenworth Classic on this. I'm just going to leave it as it is. So, I believe that's everything, yeah. I mean, you can add the driver's plate. I don't really go over that just because it's annoying. So, but they are there. So we'll confirm this. And we will leave. Alright. This around. Airplane flying up. Stop right here. And shoot the engine down. And get rid of that. Alright, so this is the Kenworth T660 by, once again I'm going to say this wrong, Marihuas Loco? Something like that. Once again, I don't speak Spanish, so I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. But he is the one that created this. This is his truck. So credit goes to him for making this. It's still in beta form. I can't wait for him to add more stuff to it, because I know a lot of people like the Kenworth T660, and especially if you do customization mods to it, you know, changing the grill and all that. It is a really, the truck really is a badass truck. I will say that. So I am hoping that, you know, this was just released not too long ago, and, you know, hopefully in a few weeks or a month that he adds another one. And I will make an update video, as I always do. Anything that comes out, I will do a mod on. If there's an update to it, I will always do a review on that as well, so you guys can compare the differences. We saw a few flaws with it, such as, we'll turn the truck back on, such as the turn signal, get rid of the map, such as the turn signal, the left one. As you can see, the hazard lights come on. You need to do the right one. Only the right side's supposed to come on. But you hit left, and all of the lights come on. And then I have mine set to R for the hazard lights, so that's the hazard lights. And then left, also someone puts on the hazard lights, except for the right side, back. So there's all the hazard lights. There's without it. It's supposed to be the left side, but the right side lights up too. So that is a flaw. The paint is another flaw. Once again, I will check on my end to see if it's my problem. If it is, I will put it in the description below that it was on my end, and I will test it again without it, you know, see what was conflicting with it. And if I can get the paint to work, I will say that it was on my end. The paint does work perfectly fine, there's no problems with it. But if it is not on my end, then it's on his end and it needs to be fixed. So it's just, you know, some flaws, and that's always common with betas. You're always going to find something, flaws in the, you know, the game log and all that they do. I don't know how to do any of that, but there's always going to be problems. So if you did enjoy this video, please, you know, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment if you have any questions. The link will be in the description below. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, the Kenworth T660. I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.